cake. It is Wednesday, and yes, these are Harry Potter glasses. I was gonna make this video today in response to a video that I saw from the Vlogbrothers, but I rewatched the video and realized that he addressed what I wanted him to address, and that I was probably making dinner during that time when he said it. So I was gonna make another video about vaginas, but today, since I went back and watched it, you're not gonna get another video about vaginas, even though, trust me, I would have loved to make it anyways. Instead, I decided, what's a good thing to talk about right now? What's going on in the world? I decided, our Congress, shit's going down. I want to just, talk about what's happening and offer my opinion on things, because, let's be honest, I always have an opinion about things. First off, soon they're going to be needing to come to a decision about whether or not we're going to raise the debt ceiling. If we do not raise the debt ceiling, that means that all of the debt that the U.S. has acquired, which we all know is a fuck ton of debt, we're going to default on, which means it's the same thing when somebody defaults on a loan. It means that you're not going to pay it back, and that would be terrible, and that would be an economic crisis for the United States. Now, Speaker of the House, John Boehner, has come up with a plan that involves only cutting spending. It has nothing to do with raising taxes, which is something that the Republican Party is big on. It doesn't believe in raising taxes. And that's fucking fantastic. Like, I would love to live in a world where we didn't have to pay taxes. It's very idealistic, and I would love to keep all my money. But let's be honest, I also appreciate social programs, and so I'm pretty sure that it's unrealistic to not raise taxes, and it's not going to really help when you're cutting spending to programs like oil for heating for people who are super poor, or cutting nutrition programs for people who are super poor. It's funny how all of these programs that are getting cut are for poor people. I really don't feel like poor people should have to suffer more than they already are. Anyways, so this introduces the idea of taxes, which, let's be honest, most of the money that we spend in our budget now is on military, Medicare, and Social Security. Now, I don't suggest cutting funding to Medicare and Social Security because I think that they're really important programs. But the military, we spend more money than any other countries, industrialized countries, in the world combined on our military. That is an insane amount of money, and yet nobody ever talks about cutting funding to them. And we have this really fucked up way of giving them money where we give them a budget, but if they don't spend that much, then we'll reduce it to whatever they actually spend, and then we end up, so that promotes them to spend all of the money that we give them, even though they don't need it, and they buy golden toilet seats and golden everything. Golden, why do you need things in gold? Why you not be responsible with money? Anyways, I'm really trying to make this under 4 minutes, and I don't think I'm going to make it, so I'll probably get punished, but whatever. In the Civil War, United States, we went into hella debt. We were like freaking crazy in debt for back then. And Lincoln realized that we needed to go into debt to save the Union, which is great for him. But how did he pay for the war? He created the first federal tax. In August of 1861, he was all, I need money. What am I going to do? I'm going to tax. He created new taxes. In the past decade, we have been fighting all these wars, and we have not made any new taxes. We have not raised taxes. Dude, crazy, right? Illogical. And recently, they just came out, the Pew Research Foundation came out with a study that showed that wealth disparity between races is at its highest in our country. And that has a lot to do with the housing crisis that happened because of predatory lending to poor people. Poor people are always the victims in this. Do we understand that? Because they are. And roughly one third, and over 1/3 for the Black community, but roughly 1/3 for the Latino community, literally have no wealth. They are all in debt. And yet, the white community has $113,000 median net worth. That is insane to me. That is insane to me that exists in our society now. It's weird because when you talk about taxes, and we're talking about this top 1% and how the Republican Party doesn't want to raise taxes on them, and yet you're cutting programs for heating and nutrition? Are you fucking kidding me? When these people have Hummers, like 19 Hummers and Lamborghinis, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. And people who are in that 1% know how to go through all the tax loopholes that our system has set up, where you can You get a tax deduction if you put money away for a pension. Yet poor people don't have money to put away for a pension, so they can avoid those taxes, whereas the top 1% can. And I looked up the statistic, and it says that top 1% of taxpayers receive 45% of all of the tax benefits and deductions that our government system offers, whereas the bottom 60% only receives 3% of those reductions on their taxes. So when people are saying that these top 1% shouldn't be taxed anymore, they already know how to get through all the loopholes. And I wish that those loopholes didn't even exist. It doesn't make sense. We give advantages to people who are married, and they get tax reductions, and people who have kids. Why are we promoting people to get married and have kids? We need to have less people in the world, and we need to have not so much marriage going on. If people weren't married and they had their own money and it would just make things so much easier, people. And I just really wish that we weren't in war, and that, that we could decide on something. We need to raise the debt ceiling in order to avoid this economic crisis. I know debt sucks, but we're not in a position where we can say that we can legitimately solve this problem in time to pay off our debt in a reasonable manner. And defaulting just is not an option for me. I would love to hear what you all have to say, though. I'm totes at 6 minutes, and I'm not going to go back and edit this because I felt like I just went on a rant, and that was a lot of emotions going on, and I just, just eating lunch, and I have to go to class soon. So, there are other things I wanted to say, but I think I'm just going to sum it up to when Republicans, which I'm sorry that I'm being so partisan right now, but whatevs, when Republicans say things like, when you talk to families know how to budget, you cut your spending, you cut up that credit card, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's why I brought up all of those stats about who's actually in debt, who's actually having to use these credit cards, who actually doesn't have wealth. And B, you can't compare an individual family household to the macroeconomics of the entire United States. I'm just saying. That's a really dangerous metaphor to make. But anyways, I love you all. And I'm totes sorry, this is like over 7 minutes. But I mean, you hadn't seen my face in a long time, so I feel like I really have 8 minutes to work with since I missed like 2 videos. Am I right? I believe so. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Okay, bye!